Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Mindset, Motivation, and Mastery. Super excited to have Danny Wood joining us today. Ultimately, and Danny's got some cool stuff that he's doing. But ultimately, our business right now are about two things. It's about lead generation and marketing. And in today's world, marketing has become, such an easy thing for, like we used to have to when I was, Danny. How long have you been in real estate, Danny?
2007.
2007. So I've been in real estate for 24 years, and way back when marketing was expensive, hard to do. You had to hire outside companies and all of that. And in today, by, hiring people like yourself, it's somewhat easy to manage and do. And there's so many great tools out now that leverage us, that as long as we spend time focusing on it. And I'd love to, hear what you're seeing that top agents do. So tell me a little bit about yourself and kind of what you do, so we can share that with the group.
Well, I think 2007 was the best time to become a real estate agent. At least it was for me, because that's when I became an agent. And it was like the industry was so dated at the time that my training at the brokerage, they actually showed me how to cut a photo off of another piece of paper and glue it onto the listing presentation. I'm like, you guys are actually cutting and pasting paper? And then when I was doing showings, I would use a thing called Google Maps, and I would put all of the listings in order, and then I would rearrange them. And they had never seen such a thing. They were using a map book. I'm like, holy shit, this is like such an old school business. And so the traditional business really was there with the direct mail, the newspaper, right? Magazines, that sort of thing. And I wasn't opposed to it, but I was a brand new agent. I didn't have, you can either leverage your time or leverage your money. And as a brand new agent, I had to leverage my time. And so I did want to do marketing. So I actually, at the time, called Facebook up. And I said, hey, you guys could do this really cool thing with like targeting people based on their profile, and we could leverage it for real estate. And because they weren't a public company at the time, somebody actually answered the phone. And I don't want to take credit for giving them all these great ideas, but now it's like one of the main things that they make money from. And so at the time, I was actually using Facebook ads, and it was really cool with the ways that we could slice and dice and target our people. Of like, you could predict who is moving soon. Like, that was one of the things. You could target the people that were investing in real estate. You could target people based on their language. You could target people based on all these different things. So Facebook was new and really inexpensive back then. And then Google, I'm like, if a person is searching real estate for sale and my website isn't coming first, well, that's my first mission, because obviously most of the people that are looking for a home, I mean, that's where they're going, is the internet. So my very first step was to get a real estate templated website. It doesn't matter who you use today, this same concept will apply. What I did was I took that real estate template that hundreds of other agents had, and I went to every single page and I rephrased every paragraph. I changed every image. If there was an image that they had, like a picture of, like, say it was stock photography of like a house value, a house with a money symbol or something stupid, I would take that away, and then I would upload a photo locally that looks like Durham region, which is the area that I would have served at the time. And so I change every photo, I change every title, I change every tag, I change all of the URLs. Making the content original and fresh was a big deal. And within like 3 months, my website was coming up as the first thing. If anybody searched anything to do with real estate, I would partner up with all the mortgage brokers and banks. So I had a page dedicated to CIBC. I had a page dedicated to RBC, Bank of Montreal, all the independent mortgage brokers. That way, when a person was searching them, my website would come up. So I kept doing all these like different unique things to just like get exposed, because dude, I looked so young in 2007. None of my friends and family were buying a home with me. Like, I had to go outside of the box marketing to get cold business from people I didn't know who they were, and they didn't know who I was. All I knew was that I just had to out follow up the other realtors, because that's the number one complaint our industry has, is the lack of follow up. So that was my advantage.
Interesting. Yeah. It's funny because our business has it's become so far in such a short period of time. Like, I mean, when I started real estate, we still were doing the books. Like, we never had any of the stuff that we have now. So that's awesome. So talk to me a little bit about, like, Danny Wood coaching, BrokerageNation, like all of that. So like yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
Sure. I won't go too deep because it's always boring to hear somebody talk about themselves. But it can relate. So
Yeah.
in real estate, I did really well the first couple of years as a brand new agent. Like I never the first year, I realized I shouldn't be doing the contracts. I shouldn't be with the clients. All I should do is making it rain. If I can just lead generate and book those appointments once a person's ready to hop in a car to look at homes or get us to a listing table to list the property, I would assign them to another agent on a referral split. And then I was full remote. I was just living from hotels, traveling around. And so people caught wind of this story and they're like, oh man, can you like share this story with our brokerage? We'd love to hear it. So I would. And then every time I would do that, agents in the audience would be like, well, that's awesome, but can you do it for me? So one-on-one coaching became a thing. But what happened was once I filled up all of my time slots, I couldn't scale the business unless I hired other coaches. And with the type of coaching I was doing, it wasn't like an accountability type of coaching. It was more of like a playing in the sandbox and setting up your systems. And so I didn't know anybody else that was doing that. So I didn't want to like get into that game. So then I went from one-on-one coaching to group coaching. And I took this group coaching concept that I had and I packaged it onto a DVD and I flew out to NAR, National Association of Realtors, and I bought like a 10 by 10 booth for $3,500 at the time. And it worked really well. I sold like $60,000 worth of these DVDs, but it was the concept of a DVD. I didn't even have the DVD made yet. I was just selling the concept of what was going to be on the DVD. And after NAR, I had to start making all the content. And that totally launched the whole thing. So that was around 2012. And then what I found with that was that it was very transactional. I would sell the DVD, I would get the agent's name, phone number, email, and their credit card, and it was a one-off thing. It wasn't reoccurring. So I took that DVD and I repackaged it for brokerages so that a brokerage could pay a monthly subscription and the DVD gets rebranded as that local brokerage. And then they can use it for training in-house, all of their current agents, but they could also use it as like a lead magnet for recruiting agents outside. So it was like a double edge. And I was rocking that for years. We've got 8,000 agents that are in the program now, full remote. Like I'm standing in a motorhome right now. This is a tour bus, and I move to a new city every month. With COVID, that really slowed things down. So it's not as cool of a story anymore because I'm actually a guy living in a van down by the river. There's the river over there. But before that, I would move to a different city and I would just base it on weather. Like, where's the cool weather at? And I don't mean cool weather. I mean, like, where's the hot weather at? And where's the cool opportunity? Is there something like, oh, I bucket list stuff. So I've been checking off my bucket list. It's a 5-year trip. Going on 7 because of COVID, and it's all because of the technology. So
you've been living in a van down by the river and different rivers around the country for how long now?
I left in 2017.
That's amazing. Like you tell me that story the other day. I'm like, that's awesome. And again, it's because of the world we live in today that you're able to do that, right? So
true. Well, sort of. I was faking it because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't like that I didn't want it to be like the first 3 years, oh, you're doing really good, and then I hit the road, then everything collapses. So I faked it where I pretend worked remotely for like 3 years at home, where I removed my I had an office. It was like $1,200 a month before I made a dime. Like that's how much I was paying every month. And so like I removed that and then I just worked from home. I got a mobile internet thing to make sure that the amount of data that I was using, I could maintain that whether I was in Oshawa, which is where I'm from, or Calgary, Vancouver, or San Francisco or LA. Like I wanted to make sure that my internet was working. So I faked the living remote part for about 3 years. And then I don't know, one day my wife she came up. She's like, yeah, we should probably do that road trip thing you want to do. I'm like, yeah. So I literally she set it on like a Tuesday. And by Thursday, I bought the truck and trailer. There was no time for second remorse. I
got the permission. I'm out.
Yeah. Because it was like a 5-year, like planting the seed, dreaming. And then one day I didn't even bring it up. She did. And I'm like, let's do it. Let's go. Let's get on that. So yeah, technology is definitely a big piece to our industry as a real estate agent. And there's a couple ways that real estate agents are leveraging the technology that I see right now. It's pretty exciting. I mean, there's nothing new about Facebook and Google. It's just like the way you frame it is a little bit different for some people. So that's a big one. Video is huge. Social media, like, oh my God, Clubhouse. Do you know how much Clubhouse has impacted my business? By the end of the year, it is going to be my number one platform of all the social media, to the point where I would say I will get rid of Facebook or Instagram if I have to keep Clubhouse. Like, that's, to me, how much business I'm going to get. For a regular real estate agent, Clubhouse, they're not going to get a lot of business, but they're going to get a lot of knowledge and a lot of network. So there's different platforms that are out there that are just killing it. I was on a call. I had a guest speaker last Thursday. He's in Vegas and he is killing it with TikTok. And I'm like, who's really killing it with TikTok in real estate? Like, you're doing your finger snap dances and lip singing. Like, how are you getting business from this thing? And the guy is not only feeding himself, he's feeding a team of 5 people, and all their business comes from TikTok.
Wow.
So there's ways that you can kill it no matter what platform that you happen to be on. So when I'm speaking to like an audience like yours, we have a mixed group of people. Some are high-end leaders, some are middle management, some would be brand new agents that just stumbled upon the podcast. So generally speaking, a real estate agent wants more buyers, more sellers, more investors, and hiring a team, or like admin or something like that. So it's kind of like the 4 big ones. And so in this market, who wants to work with buyers? No hands go up. In most markets, especially in this one, you want the listings, right? So if I was to be reconnecting with people about listing, there's a couple strategies that I would do. Obviously, the first one is Google pay-per-click. If anybody searches house values, house prices, home prices, those like 4 phrases, I would drive anybody that clicks on that to my house value page. Absolutely. If on your house value page, you're asking all the questions in the book, like what's the age, what's the square footage, are you working with a realtor? Don't ask any of this stuff. You might as well ask them for their fax number. Who cares? Are you going to fax them something? No. And if you ask them the square footage, are you going to put that in the listing? Probably not, right? Unless it's a brand new build, because you don't know. So don't ask all these questions. Just ask like name, phone number, email, address on the CMA page. If you remove the phone number and just like middle finger. So if you remove the phone number and just have the email on there, you'll get more. So the less that you ask, the more you get. I do leave the phone number because I would only want to talk to a person that I can actually talk to. I'm not going to just like do all this work and do a CMA to somebody through email. I definitely have to talk to them because it's easier for me to qualify a person. It's easier for me to gauge and have a real conversation. Okay, so that's a big one. Right now, YouTube has a really cool strategy where, when you're watching a YouTube video and it gives you the 5 seconds to hit the skip button. Okay, that's called a TrueView ad. And the problem with those TrueView ads is that most agents don't do this properly. What they do is they upload a video on their YouTube channel and then they'll run a TrueView ad. Well, what's happening is you're forcing like 99% of the people to hit the skip button because they're not there to watch you. They're there to learn how to fix the tire, how to bake the cake, how to do whatever they're trying to learn how to do on YouTube, not watch you pitch them. So what happens is they hit the skip button. And what's the number one metric YouTube looks at is playthrough rate. If it is a 1-minute video, are they watching 60 seconds of it, or are they watching 10 seconds or 30 seconds? The higher, the better. Well, because you're forcing everybody, because most people aren't wanting to watch your video, they're hitting the skip button at the 5 seconds. You're basically penalizing your whole account because everybody's hitting the hit skip button, and then YouTube is like, oh, well, this video is trash. And then, oh, well, that video lowers the overall account as well. So what we do is we you can upload the video on your YouTube channel, but just make it unlisted. And then when you run the ads, there's two things. One, all the views you get, you're going to rack up a bunch of views and nobody's ever going to see that. So your ego isn't as inflated. That's like one downside to it. But the upside to it is that you're not penalizing your whole account. And YouTube has this new thing that we're rolling out this week. It's a beta test. So they're just unrolling this for our industry right now in real estate, where we can do the TrueView ad. And when a person is watching a video, it's up at the top of the screen. So the video would be like up here. And then down beneath has all of like the suggested videos. It has the comments, that part of the YouTube app. Well, now we can build the landing page right in it that captures their name, their phone number. You can't ask for address in the YouTube form just yet. So anyways, we just ask for name, phone number, and email, and we're generating seller leads directly through that. And because it's YouTube, we can target people based on different criteria. One would be like, are these people going to Zillow and Realtor.com and Remax.com or Remax.ca? So you can target what websites they go to. And if they go to these types of websites, then show them this type of ad. The other one is based on the keywords of the videos themselves. So an example would be like real estate investing or investing in real estate. If anybody is watching those types of videos, but they happen to be in Oshawa, which is the city that I would serve, then I want my commercial to play in front of any video about real estate investing. As long as the person's in Oshawa, as long as they're over the age of 30, then it would come up with my commercial, and it would be me saying, hey, it's Danny Wood. If you're thinking of investing in real estate in the Oshawa area, including power sales, foreclosures, fix and flips, duplexes and triplexes, then fill in the form below. We'll get you on a property tour. We're going to show you a list of all the homes that hit the market next week that fit that criteria. And we're going to do a weekly or bi-weekly webinar, and we don't want you to miss out. Go ahead and register. That sort of thing. So YouTube is really cool with the type of targeting we can do now. It used to be really trash because it didn't give a person anywhere to click. Like it did, but like it was like this little transparent button that nobody even knew was a button. So now that we can build the landing pages right in it, we're going to be ripping that next week.
Is the landing page right there when you're watching the video?
Yeah.
So it's visible, very easy to see.
It's in the ad. The video is at the top, and then the landing page is the bottom half of the screen. Yeah, pretty cool. Now my challenge is like, getting a video from real estate agents is a real challenge, right? Like a real challenge. It's almost mission impossible for me to get videos from agents. So what I'm doing is I actually hired a voice actor. I just hired a male voice actor and a female voice actor that are reading my scripts as audio clips. And then what we're doing is we're creating a billboard that has the agent's face, their name, their title, their brokerage, and then the audio of like this other actor reading the script. Now, if they can send me an audio, I'll take the agent's voice and use it. And this is the seller script that we're going to use this week. So it says, if you're thinking of selling your home, be sure to message us below. We'll follow up with a free home seller consultation. During that, you'll discover exactly what you could sell for in today's market, how you would stack up against the homes not yet sold, and how much you could net and walk away with. As an added bonus, we'll even send you the listings for sale to help you find your dream home based on your future needs and wants. This is a perfect way for you to start your information gathering. Message us below to book a free call. Boom. So that would be my video script. And if I was an actor, I would memorize it and look into a camera and read it. But I'm not an actor, so I can't do that. And none of the realtors I know are actors, and they can't do it either. So we're just having them read it as like, there's a tool I use called Speakpipe. 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 Speakpipe allows you to send a link to a client, and then they can send you an audio back. Think of like testimonials. You could get testimonials back. Or in my case, I want scripts of realtors reading these so that I can make video content for them. So there's tons of I use Speakpipe also for hiring cold callers. I hire cold callers all the time. And I don't even read their resume, because they're like, oh, are they going to give you, like, Uncle Bob is going to give them a bad review if I call? No, it's like obviously all bullshit. So I'll hire like 5 people to do my cold calling, and I send them all to Speakpipe, and I get them to read 1 page of a book. I just want to hear 1 page of a book. It's not like 1 sentence or 1 paragraph. It's a whole page, and they're reading this to me. And I can clearly tell if they can speak properly on the phone, have good cadence and flow and structure, and like speak properly.
And read.
So speak and read. Yeah. So Speakpipe is awesome. We use Speakpipe a lot for like reconnecting with our friends, our family, our contacts. Like, say you had a client appreciation event. Not right now with COVID because it's hard to do that sort of thing in person. But if I did have a client appreciation event and we were doing like a day at the movies and we had 5, 6, 700 people show up, that is like a full-time job to get that many people committed. Oh, my cat needs a needle. That would be a full-time job to get that many people like enrolled and saying, yes, I'm coming. This is how many people are coming with. So that's the type of thing we would hire a cold caller for. We would hire a cold caller for taking all of our old internet leads and just shaking the tree to see what falls and say, like, they can't talk real estate depending on the market. Some of us are in the States, some of us are in Canada, and the cold caller is not allowed to talk about real estate at all. They just like reconnect and say, hey, you were talking to Danny about real estate and he just wanted to know if you're still thinking of making a move. He's going to follow up and give you a call this week. And just like to shake the tree, and of the hundreds that they call, maybe only 6 or 12 like raise their hand, but at least now I know the 6 or 12 that I can be connecting with. Yeah. The a lot of agents come to me for that magic bullet. They're like, oh man, I need this. I need a shot of adrenaline in my business. And what I end up finding out is that they shouldn't be paying for more leads on things like YouTube and Google and Facebook. They should really be working their own database.
Yeah.
And starting with that, especially right now with COVID, because people are answering the phone. They are home and they do have time to be on the phone and chatting with you. And so my strategy for connecting with my database is this. I always felt like a huge pest and a nuisance and a loser. 1 second, that alarm was for my cat's needle. 1 second.
All right. Well, so for those of you that are watching, ultimately at the end, this is funny that you're doing a live video. You got to go give needles. Did you give a needle that quick?
No. I just told my wife we'll do it in a half hour. But this is Bill Murray.
Oh, there, Bill Murray. That's a huge cat.
And he's a rescue cat from Mexico when I talked for Remax.
Oh, there you go. That's pretty funny.
Yeah. And it came broken.
You went to Thai for Remax that gave you a free rescue cat? Is that what it was?
No, long story, but I ended up bringing him home. I got him.
That's pretty funny.
Right.
So you actually hire cold callers to call your database, right? Is that what you were saying?
I hire cold callers for all sorts of things, hiring agents, recruiting, that sort of thing. Definitely. Getting people involved and enrolled in something. Say I have a seminar coming up. That's a big one, seminars. So I would hire cold callers for calling investors to get them signed up for our investing seminar, or hire a cold caller to get agents to join a team or to switch brokerages. They would never do the presentation because they don't know me. They don't know the company. They don't know the numbers. They're just like, I just want them to take a large list of people and to identify who are like the 20% that I should be following up with.
Where do you hire your cold callers at then?
I've hired all over. I use Upwork is where I get most of my people. UPWORK, Upwork.com. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay, so you talked about again YouTube. We talked about what was the other one? YouTube, Google, pay-per-click. What else? What are other technologies that people are using to leverage?
The most important that before I got distracted with the cat was the database. And so I always felt like a huge nuisance calling my friends and family because like it doesn't matter what coach you're with. Once we go through that script and we call our database with that script, it's like, what do you call and say next? Do you pick another real estate script from the same company or another real estate script from another company? At the end of the day, it still makes you feel like a nuisance and a loser of like, oh, hey, buddy, I haven't talked to you in 10 years, but I got my license. I want your commission. That's like not what you're saying, but it's how you're feeling. So I had to come up with fun ways to reconnect with my database. And one that isn't really that fun, but it actually does get you listings because that's what we're talking about right now, is I would call my database up. And so Laura answers the phone. So I'd be like, hey, Laura, it's Danny Wood over at ABC Realty. Hopefully I caught you at a good time. I'm actually not expecting you to be buying a home or selling a home, but it is about your area. You got a minute?
Yes.
And then you don't have to role play, but I was just showing that I do that pause. That awkward pause is my best friend, by the way. So I'm totally comfortable with the awkward pause. So I make that awkward pause happen, and then that kind of forces her to like speak, because she doesn't like the awkward pause either. And she'll be like, "Oh yeah, hey, what's up?" So I'm like, "Awesome." So Laura, again, totally relax. I'm not asking you to buy a home or sell a home, but hear me out. If you could guess, how many homes do you think sold in your neighborhood last year? And you can be totally wrong. Like, do you think it was 3, 8, 12, 20? And you just pick a number. It doesn't matter. And she'll be like, "Oh, I don't know, 11." So then whatever number she says, it doesn't matter. I'll repeat the number and I'll say 11. Okay, say you were right. You would agree that's not a very overwhelming or spammy number. Because what our system can do is email you and notify you of all the activity just in your neighborhood. And what you're going to see is you're going to see the pictures and the price of all the new listings that hit the market. You're going to see the home renovations that people are doing to homes that are similar to yours. You're going to see the home staging to give you decor and design ideas to the homes that are similar to yours. And I'm already setting people up. So this is of no bother to me to include you. And I didn't want you to miss out. So if I was to include you, what's the best email address? And I'm going to do that long pause because I want that email address, and she's going to fill in the blank. She'll be like, "Oh," so she gives me her email. Awesome. Okay, Laura. So what's the exact mailing address? Like, I want to be this hyper local to you. So what's the postal code and everything? So now she's giving me her mailing address and her postal code. So when we hang up, I'm going to do something real old school. It's called a handwritten thank you note. It's incredible. So I'm going to write this handwritten thank you note. I'm going to put, I'll show you what I put in it.
Hey, as long as you're not bringing back a rescue cat, we're good.
No, maybe you never know with me.
Yeah, a free rescue cat.
So in when I make a handwritten note, I don't just give a business card. I put the business card in a plastic sleeve that you would see on a lanyard when you go to a conference. And the reason for it is because it protects the card. It gives it a way higher perceived value. If this thing gets like ditched into a cupboard or a drawer or something, it's not going to get damaged. It's not dog-eared. It's not marked up. So I buy those, put that in.
It's interesting.
On the letter that I send the people, I actually handwrite it myself. And I bought like the king and queen, how they used to use a wax seal and stamp it. Yep, I wax seal that. Include a little, these are Post-it notes that are sticky. And it's just got a checklist with lines. So, you can't see that. So checklist line. And the very last one has my phone number with the checklist. It says, "Call Dan today." And I'm just constantly like reminding people to call me today. So I've got her mailing address, right? I set her up. I then, when we hang up the phone, I would add her to my database, right? I'll set her up as a home buyer. Only her criteria isn't the whole city. Her criteria is just going to be that neighborhood. And now what's happening is that she's getting a real estate related trip that's local and relevant to her. It's free. It's not costing me or her anything. It's coming from me. So I'm constantly reminding her about real estate for the next like year, 2 years, 3 years. Eventually, who's her real estate agent going to be?
Gonna be you?
Probably the one that contacted her the most and stayed in touch the most.
Yeah.
So it's not just going to be about setting them up on that, though. Now, my next game plan after I send the handwritten letter is to make sure that I touch her again in like next quarter or next season. So I make it a mission of myself to reconnect with people on a quarterly basis. That way they don't forget who I am. I don't have to remind them I'm a real estate agent. I just have to remind them I'm alive and remind them I'm their friend in the business. And so when COVID lifts, I would be a professional fund haver. And every month I would have something fun on my horizon, whether it be stained glass course or a self-defense class or a CPR thing or goat yoga or monster jam, like truck rally, Segway tour downtown, steak night downtown. Like every month I would have something fun on my horizon that I could invite and enroll people in, whether they like the idea of it or not. They like the fact that I called them and invited them. The fact that I even just thought, hey, if not you, who? And I that's another thing. I always use that. If not you, who? Because most people are going to use the date, the time, the topic as a reason as to know. And that's totally cool. My mission isn't to get 100 people to the golf driving range. My mission is just to call 100 people. And if I happen to get 8 or 12 out, boom, that's fine. 8 or 12 people face to face. I still got those other people on the phone and got to call them. Oh, there's an app you should write down. Reach, REACH. It's an app on your phone. What I like about Reach is it takes all of the contacts in your phone and you can segregate it into different lists, like buyers, sellers, realtors, whatever. I have different lists for different reasons. And so what I like about it is normally a texting software, what it does is it sends a mass text message coming from a weirdo phone number. Like it's not your cell number, it's some other, like, who knows what the phone number is. And so with Reach, it comes from you, from your phone to them on their phone, and it shows as my phone number. So my phone number is 905-903-5442. So if you were on my mass text and I sent it to 140 people, it would mail merge, hey, Jared, it's Danny Wood. Just thought I'd reach out and let you know about blah, blah, blah. Well, it sent it to you, but it sent it to Amy and sent it to Steve and it sent it to all these different people, and it mail merged the names, but it came directly from my cell number. And now there is one limitation. So when I type out that broadcast and I hit send to the 140 people, it pulls up the list, and then I have to hit send, 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 send. So I have to hit it 140 times, one for each person. So that's not very scalable. Most real estate agents aren't going to have that huge of a list. So it's not going to be that big a deal. And most of you are already wasting your time scrolling at Facebook and Instagram. It's like the same thing. You're touching your phone 100 times and you're not making real gems. It's fake gems, these games you're playing. So this is just a way for me to make real gems. And I don't mind touching the phone 140 times. I'll do it while I'm watching a video. I'll do it while I'm on the phone. Like, I don't have to pay attention. It's just like smack, 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 smack. And so I really like the Reach app. Now, it is going to come to a tipping point where some of my list gets so big that I can't hit the phone like 300 times or 800 or 1,000. So then I'll switch over to an app called Community. So the app is called Community, and it allows you to do a broadcast text message. Only this time, when I type up the message and when I hit send, it will go to everybody at the press of one button, but it's only going to go to them coming from some weirdo phone number. It's not going to come from your cell number. So there's like a give and take. Personally, I like the people knowing it's me texting them. So I like the Reach app better.
Interesting. Awesome. And how often are you texting them? So when you said have a monthly event. So in this monthly event, are you actually physically calling all the people you want to invite on a monthly basis? Because you said you're going to talk to them like 4 times.
Right. No. So say your database is 150 people in it. I would just call 3 people a day, 5 days a week, and you're not going to get through the whole database calling them for that one event, but it will roll over the next month. So I'll include like a third of the database gets called to this event, a third of the. So I'm not in a race. It's just consistency is key to me. And so if I could just be consistent with calling 3 people a day, I won't be looking back 6 months from now saying, holy shit, time flies and I didn't get anything done. I'm not where I wanted to be.
And the truth is the event is really just the ease of the call, because it's easy to ask people to go do something fun, and the opportunity to get in front of a group of people, basically.
Totally. Yeah. And you could even do COVID friendly style stuff. So a couple of them would be like, maybe I would get a teacher to do a Zoom call showing the top tips, technology and apps that parents should know while homeschooling. Whatever, that I just made that on the top. But if I actually talked to a teacher and had a real conversation, I'm sure we would come up with more stuff to talk about. So that could be one. And that could give me social media content. That could give me a reason to email blast people. That could give me a reason to pick up, most importantly, the reason to pick up the phone and to call people. So there's that. I would definitely be doing like a clothing drive. So I would call Laura up. So the first call I called her on to get that nosy neighbor alert. And then like now we're 2 months in or 3 months in and her name comes back at the top of my list. So then I'd be calling her about a clothing drive. So I'd be like, hey, Laura, it's Danny over at ABC Realty. Hopefully I caught you at an okay time. And I'm not asking you to buy a home or sell a home, but it is something that's going to make you feel good. You got a minute? She's going to say, yeah. Awesome. Okay. So what we're doing is we're doing a clothing drive, and I want to make you feel good by removing stuff out of your space so that you can go out and buy more stuff that fits and looks good on you. And so it's going to be COVID friendly, where you just have to put it in a bag, leave it outside. I'll swing by and come by and get it. And like, if we were going to do that, would you participate? we're going to donate it to such and such charity, blah, blah, blah. So I would have that conversation. And whether she says yes or no, it doesn't matter. If she says yes, the good thing is that I have the opportunity to update my database, because I'll be like, okay, perfect. What's the exact address? Because maybe I didn't get her on the nosy neighbor alert the first time I called. But the second time I get her on the clothing drive, so I get to pop by. So I'm updating my database. I would get press release because I would be donating this to the local charity, and we would do some sort of wacko figure of like, local realtor donates 5,000 pounds of clothing, like whatever. I would do like weigh it. I would come up with some sort of obscure number of like how to value how much we donated. Just clickbait style stuff for the local newspaper, but it's positive, it's share worthy, and it's all community driven, right? So every month I would have something that would be on my horizon. I could do something about real estate as a second career, because a lot of people, they're like wanting to work from home, they want to switch jobs, that this is the chance that maybe they could do that. So that's something I could do virtually, right? Investing in real estate is another one. Like, oh man. Well, I'm talking to real estate agents right now, and we're creating campaigns targeting people that are moving from Hong Kong. Like, that's a big deal right now. A lot of people are going to be moving from Hong Kong, or a lot of people are relocating. Like, there's a huge question of like, how can people continue to keep paying these stupid high prices in the GTA? Because I know a lot of us are in the Greater Toronto area, and it's like ridiculous. Oh, cool, 300,000 over asking price. That's what you paid. Like, how is this maintainable? It's probably not.
Yeah.
Now, because I say that it's probably not, and I don't have a crystal ball, so who am I to say anything? The one thing that I do know that's going to insulate the blow is immigration. There is a huge influx of immigration coming into town. And so as a real estate agent, why wouldn't I just connect with real estate agents that speak those other languages, and then start doing my own funnels in other countries, bringing people relocating to my town? I would.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a cool business, man. Real estate allows us to wear so many different hats. And that's one of the problems, is because as a single agent, they get paralyzed with all the different hats that they have to wear, and they feel like they're missing out of like, oh man, everybody's making TikTok videos and I'm not. I should be. And it's like, no, you shouldn't. You don't have to. You don't have to be on every platform. You just have to be on whatever platform you rock.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I love the fact that we get to play in a sandbox, and we get to always be creating every day. It's not just a matter of like doing an open house and this weekend going out and putting out the for sale signs. I mean, the open house signs. It's a matter of me doing circle prospecting. It's a matter of me doing door knocking, direct mail, putting the ads on Facebook Marketplace, Craigslist, Kijiji, putting the ads on MLS and all these other platforms. Like, it's just like getting out there and doing as many creative marketing approaches as possible, because we never know what marketing is working. But I can tell you one thing: if you don't do any marketing, 100% of it sucks.
Yeah. Yeah. I was kind of, I'm just like, I'm all over the fact of like pay-per-click, buying pay-per-click leads now is not you got to protect yourself, and your where it's at is sphere of influence and your database of people you know. And like, I'm all over that. So I'm glad that you touched on that. And I'm like, so I'm teaching that right now to a bunch of teams. And I was like, listen, if you're just doing a direct connect and just a phone call, it's not enough. Like, you need to make sure that you're creating visibility through your marketing. And I call it emotional connection. Is if you're not doing direct connect, emotional connection, and marketing, then you're missing the opportunity. And like, you really hit on all of them: calling, handwritten cards, and then doing your marketing, whether through YouTube or whatever. Like you said, you don't have to be on all platforms, but choose your place and create visibility around that for your people, right? So
A good one that ties in technology with what you're saying is to take a audience. So you can take your database of all the contacts that you have in it, and you can upload that to Facebook as a Facebook custom audience. So I could take all my emails and all of my phone numbers, and if that person logs into Facebook using that phone number or that email, they are the people that will see my ad. And so we have a 4 seasonal ad. So it does 1 month on, 2 months off. 1 month on, 2 months off, and we do it based on each season as just like a gentle reminder of who we are, that we're in the business, we're still here, and this is the upcoming season. If you're moving in the next 90 days, let us know. But we do that targeting only our sphere of influence because they're the people that know us. Now, between those 1 month on, 1 month offs is regular social media where I could do a social media post talking about like the 3 most affordable homes in Durham today. And I wouldn't show them because I wouldn't have permission to show them, but I could talk about them and be like, you know what, there's 3 homes that are all under 300, whatever. I don't know what the numbers are. So anyways, I could do that, a quick little like highlight reel, and then I would target my friends and family about that. And then maybe on a Friday, I could talk about the most expensive home in Durham region and like what it has and what it's all about. And I would actually call that other agent up and get permission. That way I could visually show it in the video itself. And like just constantly doing those little touches, little reminders of who you are and what you do. It's a beautiful business, man. Like I got in 2007, and when did the market tank? Was it like 2008?
2008, 2009, into 2008.
Yeah. So what a cool time for a brand new rookie to enter the market. And I looked around and I'm like, I'm having a blast, guys. I don't know what you guys are talking about. This is wicked. I'm making a killing, and it's all because
real estate. That's the cool part about it, right? So
yeah. It's all about being creative, failing forward for sure. A big one is failing forward.
Yeah. And looking for opportunity, like again, looking to maximize opportunity in anything you're doing. You touched on it with open houses. Like if you're just going out and putting a sign in the yard, you're not going to get, but where are you putting all that, doing all that? All right, Danny, if someone wants to reach out to you to connect with you kind of about your company, about how you can help them grow their business, how do they do that, man?
Cool. Okay, so we do a daily call that's free on Clubhouse. If you are on Clubhouse or want to be on Clubhouse, need an invitation to get on Clubhouse, it's free, and we do it every day at 10 o'clock Eastern. Send me a text message. Write down, get a pen right now. 905 903 5442. 905-903-5442. That is my cell number, whether you're watching this live or you watch a recording. I'm going to put in the comment section of at least Facebook my cell number. And then if you want us to do your marketing for you, because we do done for you marketing, same thing, give me a call at 905-903-5442, and we'll have a chat about like what direction, what you're looking for, what your budget is. And then based on that, I'll be able to identify and say, well, you should spend like 150 here, 50 there, 200 there, that sort of thing.
Love it. Well, thanks for jumping on here. I mean, I know you're the guy to go to when it talks about, marketing and how to take your business to the next level. Love that you're focusing on 2 things, listings and sphere of influence. Like I think those are the 2 key people we should be going after right now. So I appreciate that. Any last words before we jump off, man? I appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having me. Don't let everybody else's fear and bubble burst your style. I mean, you just got to show up every day and have fun. And I'm not a big fan of like the rise and grind. I feel like if you're grinding, you're probably on the wrong track. You do have to be intentional and you do have to be consistent. But more importantly, you have to have fun. So if you don't have joy, that's your internal compass. If you're not having joy with what you're doing, you're on the wrong track, and you should probably reach out to a guy like Jared or myself, and we can share with you the ways that you can bring that back. And Jared, thanks for doing what you do, man.
Absolutely, my friend. Chat with you later.
Bye.